the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Like, share, subscribe all of our YouTube videos. Hit that Cash App as you guys come in. Hit that Cash App for this great content. If you guys want to show your love, Cash App, $ BJ Matthews, $BJ Matthews as well. Share and subscribe with all your family and friends. And also do not forget to get your membership badges that are available. You guys get certain perks if you become a Pull Up. All right, y'all. So this is the video right here. This will be the video that we talk about the big subjects been going on this week within the last 48 hours. I know I was supposed to do this video yesterday, but I had, so much, going on, especially dealing with getting the video last night with the live. We've been going live pretty late the last couple nights, but, I definitely got to give my Clipper fans what they need first and, followed up by my NBA fans and, my other audience. So this is why I'm doing this video right now. And I'm definitely going to put some time and quality into this. I did some added research of, this subject and topic, but let's get it popping. All right. So for those who do not know, who are currently living under a rock, Draymond Green had a situation on Tuesday where he basically, hit another player on an opposing team. And that man was Yusuf Nurkic of the Phoenix Suns. As you can see, the guy currently on his stomach. Draymond Green and Yusuf Nurkic were in a one-on-one matchup where Draymond was posting up or trying to post up, get position on Yusuf Nurkic, and Yusuf Nurkic put his hands on his back, and Draymond Green, according to him, swung around in a full swing and turned around and hit Yusuf Nurkic. Now, if you guys have not saw the video, make sure y'all go, watch the video and let me know what y'all think. Y'all be the judge to know if it was perfect or not. But in this incident, Draymond Green has been suspended indefinitely. But the only question is how many games he's going to be suspended for. I've heard, different, numbers. I've heard 10 games. I've heard 15 games. I've heard this entire calendar year. I heard this entire season. So it's a number of things that I've been hearing, when it pertains to Draymond Green. I find it very funny on the timing of this suspension coming because you guys understand the Memphis Grizzlies star point guard Ja Morant will be back next week. So it's kind of funny that you got one guy coming in and the other guy coming out. But I'll be doing a video. Me and Rick will be doing a video on Sunday about that, about Ja Morant's, return to the NBA after his 25-game suspension. But today we're talking about Draymond Green. So I named this video, is he a liability or is he an asset, starring Draymond Green? And the reason why I named that title is because, when it comes to, these types of stories, these types of situations, we're all about trying to make the audience think, have a deeper thought when it comes to, certain things like this. A lot of content creators and, news media members, they, just report the news, within the next 30, 45 minutes or the same day or whatever to just be first. And that's fine. You know what I'm saying? In the business of, mainstream media, the business of, entertainment beyond TV and stuff like that. And even some of these content creators, they have an obligation to present the news in a very quick fashion to the audience. Because, some of them have a bigger audience than others. And, their style is they just want to be first. And that's what there is. Our style over here is we want to be as detailed as possible. We want, more and more subscribers who are returning and also coming in to say, well, there's something different about the pull-up, right? That's what our whole intentions are when we have these types of, talks. We talked about all these topics. Y'all been with us for the last year. We talked about, deep subjects that really, scratch the head and the eye of the viewers. You know what I'm saying? As y'all come in here, smash the like button. This is not a live video. This is a pre-recorded video. So, is Draymond Green a liability or an asset for the Golden State Warriors? And I know right now y'all thinking, well, damn, BJ, how can he be an asset when, here he is again in another sticky situation, putting his team in a situation where they're going to, end up losing him and they're going to end up being, possibly dropping the standings. So y'all understand with the Warriors and everybody, it's no mistake. The more and more we watch, the more and more you see how valuable Draymond Green is. I know as an individual player, Draymond Green is very, very, basic, minor, whatever. But in the offense and the defense of that Warriors system, the 4 championships he's been able to get with the Warriors, I mean, he's been a vital piece. And I'm going to talk about all this in this video about the assets and what he brings to the Warriors. And that's why I believe that Draymond Green is tolerated, because he understands himself. He said in one of his podcasts, when you win, people tend to like you. He was talking about Dylan Brooks, right? When you win championships, when you do things to assist the organization to bring more product and money, they're going to tolerate you. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So let's start with the side of the assets. Like I just said, Draymond has won 4 championships for the Warriors. The Warriors are an organization, who had some faults in the 90s, had some faults in the 2000s. They started getting some, some fervor with the We Believe team, with Baron Davis, with Steven Jackson, with, Matt Barnes, that team that beat Dallas Mavericks that year. That was their, starting to uprise. It got Monta Ellis. They had some, good, talent, exciting players. But the dynasty, make no mistake about it, was, from 2015 to 2022. And still possibly, trying to get back to it, get one more run. But this man, Draymond Green, was a part of that. Right? For those who do not know, Draymond Green was drafted in 2014. Right? He was drafted, I believe, in 2014. And the championships didn't start rolling until you had Steph, Clay, and Draymond all together. Steph didn't start winning until he got Clay and Draymond. Clay came after Steph, and then Draymond came after Clay. So you add those ingredients together, that's why you got the 4 championships that you have now. Mark Jackson ends up leaving after that first year with Steve Kerr. First year with the Warriors, they lose to the Clippers in the first round. 2015, they automatically go to win a championship. They automatically go and win a championship in 2015. Now, for all the jokes Draymond gets for being called triple single and being like he is the person that just can't play, he only wants to play when Steph Curry is on the court. The results show. I mean, the Warriors are in very, very elite conversation when you talk about dynasties. You got the you got the Celtics of the 60s, with Bill Russell. You got the Lakers in the 80s. You got the Celtics in the 80s. You got the Bulls in the 90s. You got the Shaq and Lakers in the 2000s. You got the you got the Miami Heat, even though that their dynasty kind of was off and on, but they're still a historic team in the 2010s. And then you got the Golden State Warriors, the 2010s going up into the 2020s. I mean, it just is what it is. Like, for them to have 4 championships and the way they've gotten them, it's something where they're going to always be a respected organization. They're always going to be an organization that's loved by the masses in the audience. If you guys go around the country, around the world, there's 2 teams in the NBA that really get the most revenue and get the most following, and that's the Los Angeles Lakers and the Golden State Warriors. Now, the Lakers are more so because of history, because they just always get the stars, from Kareem to Magic, Jerry West to Wilt Chamberlain to Kareem to Magic to Kobe and Shaq to Kobe and Powell to LeBron and AD. Like, they always gonna get the stars no matter what. They're gonna always push, the merchandise, the ownership. They're gonna always be relevant just because it's LA, because of the 17 championships, and because of the history. That's what it's always gonna be with the Lakers, no matter what. But the Warriors are that team that came along, the fast, up tempo, up and down team that, shooting threes with Clay and Steph, the Splash Brothers. They're 2 guys that, You know what I'm saying? That, beloved by the kids. I used to live overseas, played overseas, and that was about 2017. And the Warriors were. I remember going. A lot of kids. They loved Steph Curry. They loved the Warriors. That was their team. You know what I'm saying? So you're talking about a team that is not just in the States, but it's also globalized around the world. And winning does that. That's what winning tends to do. And Draymond has been a part of that. And he knows that. He knows that he's been a part of it. He knows how valuable he is. You got, Steve Kerr, who's a friend of the show, said it out loud. We're not a championship team without Draymond. They said that at the podium last year after the Lakers eliminated the Warriors. We're not a championship team without Draymond. There were many instances where I've seen in the past couple years without Draymond, he wasn't there, and they were struggling. Hit the like button as y'all come in, y'all. Hit that like button. Many instances where we saw last year, there are stretches where Draymond's not around, then you lose your playmaking, you lose your toughness, you lose your defense. You lose a lot of stuff. You lose your edge. That's what you lose when Draymond's not there. And Draymond, yeah, if y'all don't remember, Draymond, when he was even 2016, 2017, Draymond was, giving you 15, 20 points per game. Of course, now he's no longer giving you those type of numbers offensively, but he was even better. And of course, it makes sense because he was younger, but he was even better in those early years, in 2017, 2018, offensively and defensively. So you damn sure needed that. I'm gonna make a video about Steph Curry about how, we have to evaluate the amount of assistance he's had on these championships. The fact that, Steve Kerr and Steph Curry understand they need Draymond Green there. I'm not saying it's a takeaway from Steph Curry, but we have to start putting a light and start, making things understandable that Steph Curry has limitations and Steph Curry does need assistance in certain areas for them to be successful. Like I said, until Klay Thompson and Draymond got there, that's when Steph Curry started winning. So I'm going to talk about that in another video, but back to this one. Draymond is part of this Warriors organization, their franchise. This offseason, there was talks about, him possibly leaving. I got word before the trade even before he even signed that he was going to re-sign with the Warriors. And this was the aftermath of the whole Jordan Poole situation, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. That they made a decision to roll with this core of Steph, Klay, and Draymond, and kind of look at Jordan Poole as they're not going to mess up what they've been successful with. Questions is, should they have kept Jordan Poole and let Draymond walk? That's another question, because the way things are looking right now, there's some people, echoing, and it's been echoed since last year that Draymond, does he want to play with LeBron? Or does Draymond, want to get out of Golden State? I have not heard any specifics about this. I'm not going to talk about it. But, that's been, questions. Because, just out of the instances that he's been getting into over and over and over, that has to be a question that has to be asked. But the assets is that Draymond is a winner for his organization. He has poured in a lot of revenue. He is, him and Steph and Klay are like, they all need to be with one another. That's what it is for them to win. So that's the assets for Draymond Green. But I want to go into the liabilities because that's why we're here. Now, I listened to Draymond Green's press conference after the game against the Suns. When him and Nurkic had their little whatever. Um, and I found something very interesting in that press conference. Um, I first watched Draymond Green's body language. I've watched his response. I watched, how he, how much remorse he had and how much what it was coming out of his mouth. Those are three things. Let me recap. I watched his body language. I watched how remorseful he was, and I watched what he said out of his mouth. Those three things. Those are the three things I watched. And I'm gonna go through all three of those. Now, his body language, a few things I wanted to, name was, when it comes to a person, you could tell they're, being honest or not. The body language is a form of communication. You have verbal communication, which you actually physically say out your mouth, and you got body language, which is nonverbal, where you can kind of see, a person doesn't give you eye contact, where they're constantly, moving around, they're constantly looking over their shoulder, they're constantly, doing things that, make you kind of question, are they, being honest and they're being truthful. Those are the nonverbal communication is as important as verbal communication. That is what I learned in college. I took psychology as a class in college. Like you can a lot about a person's intentions, their motives, and their their what they truly want by their body language. And as you go through life more and more, you become more and more better at doing that. But nonetheless, watch the press conference with Draymond the other day after the incident, and his body language showed that he had to be there, but he wasn't. He was kind of like at the position where he was trying to be professional, but you could tell he was like, "Damn, I done messed up, big time, and I know it." That's what his body language read to me. Um, he came off as he kept grabbing his little towel on his lap, wiping his forehead. I know he does that a lot, but you could tell that he could also say that he was, constantly, moving the mic around. He looked over his shoulder a couple times. It just came off to me. He said he knew I messed up, and I know the NBA is gonna come down hard on me. That's what I read for Draymond Green's body language. What I read about his words, his words came off as, "Yeah, I messed up, but in messing up, I didn't mean to do that." And that's what I want to go to with this whole Draymond Green being a liability or asset. There's a word that I counted 14 times that he said in that 5 minute segment, and that word was intention. I counted that word, I think, 14 times in that 5 minute segment by Draymond Green. It was either intent, intention, or intentional. That like those used in those three forms. But the main word is intent, which intent means basically in a nutshell what you mean to do, vice versa what you actually did. See, Draymond, we already know that he's not known. He is not he is not prone, being away from being ejected and suspensions. This will now be Draymond Green's sixth suspension in his career. The only person who's had more suspensions or more ejections is Rasheed Wallace. I think at 128 ejections, and Draymond Green has 120. But these are all six of his different suspensions. Y'all can see right there. Now, each one of them recorded one game, but for you to have a suspension means that you've already had a bunch of ejections. You've had a bunch of instances on and off the court where you have, what I'm saying, it leads you to suspensions. Suspensions, 5 suspensions in how many years Draymond's been in the league? What is this going on? His 10th season, yeah. For him to have 10 suspensions, or was it? Yeah, I think it's his 10th year. For him to have 5 suspensions, 6 suspensions in 10 years, bro, that's a suspension every other year. That's pretty much what that is. Now, that's not what happened because he's had, what's this, his third suspension in one season. Last year, he had 3 suspensions last year. But I'm just, using the numbers that 6 suspensions in 10 years is not something that's light. That's very, very, very jaw dropping. Y'all know the first, we're gonna go through all the, suspensions he's went through. Y'all know the LeBron James altercation he had in the 2016 finals, a famous one where, basically you can say that Draymond Green has, kept his team from winning that championship in 2016. I think I remember him saying something like that as well. But he also cleaned it up and said, well, they asked him would he do it again. And he basically came off and said that, look, no man's gonna put their nuts on his head. I wasn't too upset about Draymond about this one because my thing is LeBron literally stepped over him, and the Warriors were on brink of beating the Cavs that series. And when Draymond got ejected and got that ejection, he got that suspension, that kind of turned the series around. And LeBron being a calculated dude the way he was, I believe he knew what he was doing. Right? They went on to win 3 straight, and Draymond, was suspended for Game 5 back in the Oracle. But LeBron stepping over him when Draymond wasn't looking, and Draymond, swiping his fist or swiping his hand and get LeBron off him. That I can see that. So I wasn't too upset with Draymond about that. I find it funny that they're now best friends and business partners and stuff. But hey, some people are able to let certain things go. I mean, good for them. But this was the very famous suspension. And the Warriors could be sitting on 5 championships instead of 4. And I don't mean to say that about Draymond to make him feel bad, but that's the truth. The Warriors, they're already a successful organization as it is. But that championship right there, and then you got the next one I'm going to talk to y'all about in a minute. This championship right here was a championship for the Warriors to have 5 championships. 5 championships. But that's a suspension, People said that, Draymond is a liability. He was still getting ejections, but prior to that, he was still getting ejections. He was still, like I said, with Steven Adams, he, kicked him in the nuts. I think it was the round before. You know what I'm saying? He kicked him in his nuts and he got ejected for that. Right? But Draymond Green in the finals, too many ejections, 16 technical foul. And then he gets suspended for a pivotal Game 5, which really changed the momentum of that series. Then you want to talk about championships they possibly could have had. You then get into one of the guys you brought in, which was this man right here, Kevin Durant, who, according to you, and I don't want to say, I don't think I want to clean this up. People say that he went to the parking lot crying for Kevin Durant. That's not true. What did happen though is Draymond Green advocated with Steph Curry to get Kevin Durant over there. That story about Draymond, crying in a parking lot, that's all BS. That's not what happened. But those guys all advocated for Kevin Durant. And the reason why they advocated for him, at least in my head, in my opinion, is because they needed somebody to go at LeBron, who they lost the year prior. I believe that if Kevin Durant does not go to the Warriors, they do not beat LeBron James those 2 finals in a row. I'm going to say that again. If they do not get Kevin Durant over there, they do not beat LeBron James those 2 finals. Or maybe they do. Maybe they split because they still were beating the hell out of them that series, but it would have been a lot more tougher. I understand the Warriors in 2016 were going through injuries as well, with Steph Curry being hobbled, Andrew Bogut being out. Andre Iguodala, his back was locked up, and then Draymond's suspension. A lot of stuff went on in that series for the Cavs to win. So maybe the Warriors prevail the next season, get their revenge. But adding Kevin Durant was like adding a brand new engine to a Ferrari. Like it was such a super max deal, and such a punch against the Cavs. They could never recover. You had people say that it was so bad, and y'all remember this, that people said that Kevin Durant pretty much ruined the NBA because it was such a tip and scale in competition when they added this man, and he fit perfectly with the Golden State Warriors. He was able to get more efficient shots. He was able to be, prevalent from, scoring and shooting the basketball, the ball movement, the ball rotation. He was playing defense. Kevin Durant was at a point where if he had stayed with the Golden State Warriors, they would probably sit on 5, 6 championships. And I'm not kidding. But Draymond Green, I'm bringing him up right now. There was an incident where you guys remember him and Kevin Durant got into it on the bench. It was against our Clippers, where Draymond pleaded to Kevin Durant, or Kevin Durant pleaded Draymond Green to pass him the ball. Draymond Green dribbles the ball up the court in a very, very pivotal last-minute shot, and they get the rebound. Draymond gets the rebound. Kevin Durant's standing right beside him. He's clapping his hands, "Give me the ball." And Draymond, being who Draymond was, dribbled the ball up the court and dribbled it off his foot and turned it over. You had Klay Thompson murmuring to himself that Draymond can't be the one doing that. They get to the bench. Instead of Draymond saying, "My fault, my bad, it was my responsibility to give you the ball," he started presumably going at Kevin Durant, cursing at him, and apparently brought up the fact that KD was going to end up leaving anyway. We won without you. That was so detrimental to the Warriors that they suspended Draymond a game for that. They suspended him for a game. Again, is Draymond an asset or a liability? That's two instances right there. If you did not do what you did, the Warriors could possibly have more than one championship. You could have had that championship in 2016, and if you didn't get Kevin Durant to leave, you would probably be, having another championship. Because make no mistake about it, if that never happened, KD would have stayed. KD said that on First Take. Kevin Durant said that if that was part of the reason they left. They tried to clean up in a sit down interview, Draymond and KD, but the damage already had been done. Draymond gets on screen with Kevin Durant, when KD's with Brooklyn, and they tried to turn around and make it seem like it was the organization's fault for getting between those two in the situation. Instead of admitting and apologizing to the man and said that I should have done what you did, but I did, we're going to go to the organization and blame them for putting us in that situation. That's what we're going to do. We're going to turn this around and say, well, they should have did it. I mean, they should have, stayed out of it and let us handle it, and would have been in a better spot. And KD started, agreeing with Draymond, but KD also, like I said, I mean, and it was funny because KD is usually somebody that's going to, go back at you as far as, say what he wants to say. You all know that with KD. But with Draymond, he just seemed like he was just, not looking at, maybe he told him behind closed doors. I don't know. But in that interview, he was just very, very, agreeable with Draymond. And I'm sitting back watching this interview. I'm like, what is he talking about? So the Bob Myers didn't cuss out Kevin Durant. You did. You know what I'm saying? Like you did that, and it cost your boy to end up leaving the Warriors. Part of the reason why he left. I don't believe if that doesn't happen, KD wouldn't even be looking to go somewhere else. I think he was looking to stay with the Warriors for long term because he understood, that was the best situation for him. Even with Steph Curry getting credit the way he did, I think this was the main reason why he left. I just think the whole Steph Curry, him not getting the credit, Katie, I think that was just, minor compared to this. Um, then you look at, the situation last year in the when in the first round of the playoffs, where Draymond Green, Kirk Franklin stomped Domantas Sabonis, the center of the Sacramento Kings, straight in the stomach. Now this one's a tricky one because he's pretty damn dirty himself. So I really didn't feel much for him because Sabonis grabbed his ankle and grabbed it in a way where he pretty much gave Draymond no other option but to, not stomp on him, but also if he hadn't done something, you could have possibly gave him Draymond an injury, could have turned his ankle, you could have done whatever. And Draymond ain't going for that. He's going to do the exact. He's not going to take it easy. If you do something extreme to him, he's going to do something extreme to you. And y'all see what's on the screen. That's what he did. But this was a game that he was suspended for. Now, it didn't cost him the series. They ended up winning in 7. I think they won the very next game they won the next 2 games in Golden State. But another example of Draymond Green, where his team needs him, and he ends up not being available because of, his antics and stuff like this. But, I mean, Sabonis is, I wasn't really truly feeling, what he was trying to talk about, saying, I'm just trying to play basketball and I'm not trying to, do nothing. Like, Sabonis he does little, stuff as well. Little stuff. He's kind of like Draymond in a way. I remember watching him, I'm like, this dude's kind of like Draymond, what he does. He holds, he grabs, he does little slick stuff. And this could have been, something that was very, very strategic from Sabonis, because remember, y'all know the coach of the Sacramento Kings is Mike Brown. Mike Brown knows Draymond very well. He knows what's going to make him tick. The Kings they needed an edge. They won the first game last year, and this whole instance right here in the second game was something to give the Kings a little bit of an edge over a experienced, successful Golden State Warriors team. And it looked like it was working because the Kings were, getting there, they took them to 7. I remember saying last year, I said if the Kings win one of those games in Golden State, the series is over, games 3 or 4. So I think Mike Brown is possible. Mike Brown may have told Sabonis, hey, make sure you, you know what I'm saying, get Draymond out of there somehow, some way. I don't care how you do it, get him off the court. I truly believe that's something that Mike Brown would do. Did he do it? I don't know. But this could be something that could have happened, possibly. All right. And all these instances I'm naming, I'm getting to a point at the end. I want y'all to, come to a conclusion. But I'm getting to a point with all these instances. I got 2 more, and then I'm going to, wrap it up. So you got the Sabonis incidents that happened on April 2023. And then you got literally this season. The season is just starting in November. Draymond Green headlocks Rudy Gobert. Out of nowhere, and he just basically, puts his hands around, or his arm around Rudy Gobert's neck, like the scene on Jody and Baby Boy. And he gets 5 games for it. Now, if you guys watch that tape, you guys could see that, at first people were saying Rudy was just trying to separate the players with each other. But if you kind of look from a far, and I know Rudy wasn't trying to, but if you look from afar, it looks like Rudy was trying to hold Clay. What I'm saying, not in a way of trying to, prevent the fight, but kind of trying to help his teammate out. And that's why I think Draymond, what he saw, he just saw him grab his teammate And that's where Draymond just reacted the way he reacted. You know what I'm saying? There's a rule of thumb saying unless you know the player on the opposing team personally, unless that's like your friend, like your, good friend, you're not grabbing nobody else. You're grabbing your own teammate to separate yourself from a fight. Unless the other opposing teammate is like a friend, and everybody knows that y'all are friends. Like, that's something that's a rule in basketball. You don't grab um, the opposing team member. You're asking for, possibly some a situation. You never know. You always will grab your teammate over the opposing teammate or the opposing team. But Draymond said in the aftermath he does not he does not regret the incident with Rudy Gobert. As a matter of fact, he said the consensus among all of us is that I'm going to be me no matter what. That's not going to change, Green said. But in saying that, there's always a better way that something can be done. So it's figuring out a better way. That's the consensus among all of us. Now remember the word I used in that former the video, the press conference video he had on Tuesday after his incident with Nurkic. I said the word he used was incident 14 times, or intent. That was the word he used 14 times, intent. So that told me everything I needed to know about what Draymond, what his thinking is when it comes to situations like this. Draymond has been in many, many, many spats, right? And some of them have been without being suspended. Steven Adams, right? Jordan Poole, which I felt was beyond absurd that he did not get suspended. As a matter of fact, what he did, he suspended himself. The Warriors didn't come out and say they're going to suspend him. He basically said he was taking time away from the team. So that to me told me that when they say Draymond say he's going to be who he is, that kind of just was just like, a way of saying like, they know me, they know who I am, they know what I'm about. They know what I'm about. And, I've helped y'all win 4 championships, so y'all gonna have to basically deal with me. That's what I got from that, bro. Like I said, Draymond's not stupid. He's not dumb. And all these narratives and these conspiracy theories that are being drawn up are starting to look more and more real. I already told you I'm not a big conspiracy theorist person, but the more and more I think about this right now, the more I'm starting to see and put things and piece things together. The whole KD and Draymond incident, I'm starting to think that KD, I'm not saying doesn't have like an ill will towards. I think he's still like, y'all know KD's petty. KD does not forget. I know KD left the Warriors primarily because of the man standing next to him. No matter what he gets on that screen and says. So KD, just like Yusuf Nurkic, this is why I think this is going to be a lengthy suspension. Yusuf Nurkic came out, who's a center who got hit by Draymond on Tuesday, said that the words he said that this brother needs help. I don't know what's going on with him. Those are trigger words, especially to a team like an NBA league who takes mental health very seriously. What better person to use that on than Draymond Green? What better person to make out as a person who needs dire help than Draymond Green? Now, people may say, well, you can look at it from two ways. You can say, well, BJ, Yusuf Nurkic, is the one that got hit. He would know better than anybody what that's like. So either he was being honest, Yusuf Nurkic, and saying like, I don't know what's going on with Draymond. He honestly feels like that, and he doesn't know why he does things like this. Or Yusuf Nurkic said to himself, look, the Warriors need him. So if I go out on that press conference and say something that can hurt his credibility and hurt him, the way he tried to hurt me, the Warriors can be, completely destroyed by this. Because the way that Draymond clocked him, his teammates should have been the one defending him, not looking like this where Draymond just looking at the ref and he's standing right over Yusuf Nurkic, didn't even help him up, didn't even say I'm sorry. He waited until after the fact to say I'm sorry. And that's what's going to go into the word intent. But again, KD plays for the Suns as well. And they asked him the same question yesterday, and he mimicked the exact same thing. I hope he gets help. Now, this is a guy that you've been around for 4 years. Well, I'm pretty sure you still talk to this day a little bit. You know the words that can trigger and be very detrimental to him saying that he might need help. That's basically saying in a nutshell that, nigga, I'm going to get you for you basically running me out of Golden State. I should have more rings, but if it wasn't for you, I would still be there winning championships. And we would have won if they let you go instead of me. They chose you over me. That's what KD's thinking in his head. Like I told you, KD's very petty. He don't forget. Not saying he's not a bad person. I don't think KD's a bad. I just think again, like people have their ways. When you do them dirty, they're not gonna forget. And the fact that Phoenix looks at Golden State as a team that's in the Western Conference who has championship aspirations, they're trying to get any edge they possibly can. In my opinion, I don't have a problem with it because Draymond constantly keeps putting himself in these situations. He's the one that keeps on doing outlandish things and then comes back and acts like he didn't do nothing wrong, or because it wasn't my intent to do it, then you should just look over and look away and let's just move on. Unless I meant to do it, then it's not a big deal. So my final thoughts about this is, look, first of all, Draymond has to understand, and I wish we had this with our regular lives, like, because a person at some point has to stop looking at what they mean to do and what actually happened. That there's going to be consequences and repercussions for your actions, real ones, not slap on the wrist ones, real ones, because what that does is keep a person from doing idiotic things. Draymond is right; he is who he is. Like Draymond, bro, you're reckless, man. I don't think Draymond, when he says, "Well, I didn't mean to do something," I tend to have some belief that's true. I tend to believe sometimes Draymond really does feel bad for certain things that he does. I truly believe that Draymond, there's a soft spot from that Warriors organization about him. I truly believe that. I truly believe behind closed doors, I think the Warriors and they really truly enjoy being around him. I think he is a joy to be around. He said it himself. He will always protect his teammates. He will always be there for his guys. And I think they do appreciate that about him. And that's why they tolerate him, bro. Like, this is what they signed up for. They've gotten rid of KD. They got rid of Jordan Poole. The guy that to me looks more frustrated now than ever is Steph Curry. Now we're gonna see. I think Steph's gonna retire a Warrior because of just, he is Golden State. He is, San Francisco / Oakland. That's who he is. Like, that's his, era. That's his aura. The same way Jordan, what he means to Chicago, what, Kobe means to the Lakers is what, Steph means to the Warriors. So I don't think he's going to end up leaving that organization. But I'm pretty sure Steph looks at Jordan like, bro, like, behind them closed doors, he's telling that man, just like Andre Iguodala told him, man, what are you doing? We need you out there, and you keep doing the same thing. And I truly believe Draymond feels terrible about that. But then again, like he keeps saying, he is who he is. The dude is reckless, man. The same way I want to get on Russell Westbrook for being reckless with the ball times, the same way Draymond Green is reckless when it comes to basketball. I'm like, is this dude playing basketball? Is he playing MMA? Like, what sport is this dude? Like, who tackles somebody like that trying to get the basketball? This dude, like, he play fighting like he's a kid still. I saw a play where he chased down Kevin Porter Jr., who was with the Rockets at the time, and tackled him from behind. Like, he is who he is, bro. That's not changing. So the Warriors know that, and I think the Warriors feel, well, damn, he gives us an edge. Yes, he does this, but he helps us win. So we have to deal what we have to deal with. We have to channel his energy. So he done crossed the line so many times, man. They've enabled his behavior because they need him to win. And if they need this to win, then we need to have some more discussion about how really great Steph Curry really is. Because I keep hearing about Steph that he is the end all be all. He's up there with LeBron. He's top 10, all this, but you telling me that this has to be, you have to have that. Now he proved without KD he doesn't need him, but damn, like how much more you gonna keep allowing this to happen in your own house before you start saying, look, man, I love you like a brother, but you've been more trouble than you were. When is the road stop? So as far as is Draymond a liability or asset to me, I think he was an asset up until 20, really up until 2021. I think he was his asset outweighed his liability, but now I'm starting to think his liabilities went out his asset. I'm starting to think that his liabilities went out of his asset because even Draymond being a good defender that he is currently, he's still not prime Draymond. He's still not the person that's, changing the order. The West is so stacked. There's so many good teams out there that even with his ability now is not what it once was. He doesn't have the scoring like he once did. It comes in spurts. Like Draymond used to be a consistent 15 point per game sport. What is he around right now? Like 7, maybe 6, 7 points per game. I'm not sure if you give me the numbers, but I know it's single digits. He's not that type of player no more. Klay Thompson, he got benched against the Suns the other night. He obviously is frustrated, and I could tell he's not the same player no more. So, um, I have no issue. I mean, Draymond, what he's done for the organization, bro, he can retire tomorrow, and Draymond will be beloved in Golden State. His family will, live in the sunset. They'll have whatever they want, free food, free dinner, whatever they want in Golden State because of just what he's done. The career he's already had, bro, is already most like over 90% of people would love to have. Just off the championships, off of the history. I mean, the man has had a historic career. Multiple defensive teams, defensive player of the year, multiple championships, bringing a dynasty to an organization where, like, for a while they were, slipping. They were rebuilding. They're an elite company. So I'm gonna say this. Um, I don't know how many games he's gonna be suspended for, but just like Ja Morant, I'm a man of being honest and fair. Y'all, I said Ja Morant should be suspended for half, like a little more than half the season. I would have not had a problem with that if he got suspended for half the year because he was going on that same path of constantly doing dumb stuff. And this suspension that Ja got, is going to save him. It's going to save him because a person's only going to stop when you make the consequences to a point where they're starting to lose money and their image and you take away something that they truly enjoy, which is basketball. Draymond has not been, well, I take that back. Draymond has been suspended, and he's cost this team championship. So the next order of business is, even if you suspend him now, it's gonna have to be something where he has to be a heavy hammer. But he's so stuck in his ways. You might have to get to a point where you just have to let him go off Golden State, because I don't doubt he doesn't love this organization, but Draymond has to understand, like, bro, like, you're becoming more than trouble in your worth. And that's just a fact. I mean, he don't deserve the benefit of the doubt right now. He don't deserve it. I think he has a lot of love for that organization, but bro, like, hell no. But y'all let me know what y'all think, man. I know this was a long video, but I want to do some more research. If y'all enjoyed this video, please, please, please hit the like button, hit the share to subscribe, hit the Cash App, $ BJ Matthews for this great content, man. And we will see y'all next time. Respectfully say, pull up a seat, pull up a chair, pull out. Peace. Out of here like swimwear.